Lights are on inside the Yum Center. We're ready to go. Louisville and DePaul. Joe Vasili throws it up, and the opening tip is controlled by the Cards, and that's how they start their home opener. Jada Curry on the attack, and Louisville on the board just like that. We expect to see, well, I know it's Louisville. Bit of a track meet, bit of speed up and down the court here as we go along this afternoon. There's Peoples outside to Michelle Sedor. Caitlin Gilbert, shot clock down to 5. A little off balance for Peoples, and she drops it in for the first two. Starting 5 for Louisville, you saw Curry, first year with the Cards. Kiki Jefferson, first year with the Cards. Sydney Taylor, first year with the Cards. Olivia Cochran manning the post inside, looking for her first touch, but ripped away by Peoples. Top returning scorer, as Christy mentioned, in her second year with DePaul, but Caitlin Gilbert, first season with DePaul. Michelle Sedor, first season with DePaul. Joy Allen, first season with DePaul. You get the point here. We've got some players to fill you in on as we go along as DePaul out to their first lead.
Well, Eric, you've hit on it. This game's going to be about pace. We know Louisville wants to get up and down, and DePaul said they will run because that's how they want to play as well.
Nyla Harris with the basket that answered the Peoples hoop. Into the corner, open look. Kate Clark, and a great start for DePaul. Third game of the season for DePaul. They knocked off Stonehill on Thursday in Chicago, forced 34 turnovers in that 99-52 win. Sydney Taylor for Cochran. Cochran on the spin. Peoples has gone for 20 in each of the first two games. That's Clark for 3. They'll need to make a lot of threes. You would think, Christy, against this Louisville team, that even though the names change, Jeff Walz has his system, and it's proven year after year that it's pretty effective.
Absolutely, and it's a system that's really predicated on the defense. Jeff Walz is one of the best defensive coaches in the country. He wants to force those turnovers and get out and create offense from it.
Gilbert, defended by Taylor. On the entry, knocked away from Jory Allen. Out of the scramble, Peoples will try to pull up. DePaul, red hot out of the block so far. 5 for 5 from the floor, and out to a 6-point lead. Cochran, good little fake to get free, just won't drop. One and done for the Cards. You know what Doug Bruno team wants to run. They want to sprint down the floor, get as many opportunities as possible. And DePaul continues to light it up, and Jeff Walz not thrilled at all. He needed to check a couple of big boxes. That's happened so far here.
Well, he said first and foremost, we've got to handle their pressure. And then secondly, we've got to be able to rebound with them. Well, Doug, if you make every shot, the rebound's not quite as important.
But what rebounds there have been so far, they've all been controlled by DePaul. 3-0 for the Blue Demons. Cochran.
Well, one thing remains the same for Louisville. They're so good out of timeout. So there's the screen on the ball and the roll by Olivia Cochran. I love that play out of the timeout because it got your big the ball on the move. Rotation was just late for DePaul.
So that ends the 8-0 run for DePaul. And here comes that pressure for the Cards.
So 1-2-2, full court press.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. They got out through it pretty quickly, did they not? Harris and Jefferson have gone to the bench for Louisville as Curry hits on the pull-up. Cochran standing her ground defensively, but strong take off the bounce by Sedor.
8 new players for DePaul. 4 of those are transfers. And Sedor from Michigan.
There's the faithful 5 for DePaul. You can see 2 returning from ACL injuries. It's kind of been so much the story we've seen throughout college basketball of rosters ever evolving with the transfer portal and then players who miss time with injury coming back. And how about the Blue Demons down 3-3 so far?
DePaul went under that on-ball screen, and Curry just took that shot. I'm eager to see if that's going to be the game plan throughout for DePaul, to give up the outside shot to Louisville.
Now attacking the basket, and DePaul is just slicing up Louisville. to Cochran. You sense Louisville feels they have an advantage. Louisville has brought some size onto the court. A newcomer, freshman from Istanbul, Eylia Istanbuloglu, who was cleared by the NCAA last Friday, about 9 days ago. Made her debut against Cincinnati. Into the post, Eylia Love in on defense, but no stopping DePaul right now. 4:15 to go in the first quarter. DePaul's got 26 on the board. Another trip to the Elite Eight. If it was only that easy, but a Walls team, and this has been consistent, they build to something as the year goes along. And that's why what you're seeing here, you'll see in the next few weeks. He told us last year, trip to the Sweet 16 and their 6th straight. They won at Texas convincingly, 73-51. Then knocked off Ole Miss in the Sweet 16. Rebound pulled down by Bryn Maskowicz into the game for DePaul. Now Maeve Mackerlane. 10-point lead for DePaul, their largest 13 here in the first. Harris. Rickards.
Paul's switching all screens around the perimeter right now. At some point, Louisville's got to take advantage.
Love on the drive. The foul called on Maskowicz. A practice with Louisville, and also on the app. Control, gaining control. And that one almost dropped down, but the rebound pulled down by the freshman. Quickly on the push the other way with Curry. Chopped off with Love from 14. Yes, she's got 6 early points. Peoples shut off. That won't drop. Battle for the loose ball, won by Harris. Louisville on the run. Curry, and maybe you did, but you just got to put the seed of doubt into the officials' minds for the next one. One of the all-time ones, like playing chess when others play checkers. Down to a 4-point game. You cut into that deficit, all of a sudden the press looks a little bit better. DePaul does well, though, and they get an open look out of the pressure, and Peoples rattles it in for 3. 11 first-quarter points for Anea Peoples. Love to Harris. Now Curry on the drive. Curry did well to get it up. Looked like it was going to get caught on her hip, but muscled it up there for 2. And look at the hustle play by Lily Love. Jeff Walls talked about it this week, about how Love really showed up on the tape after the Cincinnati game. What was she, a plus 19 in that game for Louisville?
Yes, she was. And then you see Curry with the take, which I'm not even sure how she got the ball out of her hands. But Eric, back to your point about Love, you know, my question for Jeff Walls was, who's your next Mikasa Robinson? Who's your next just dog on defense? And that's when he responded with, he likes what he's seen from Love so far.
That's a mistake on the sideline. Kiki Jefferson for Rickards. Love for 3.
Miscommunication by the DePaul perimeter defenders. That left Love open as she went out to that wing and knocked it down.
9 points for Love off the bench in the first quarter for the Cards. And a turnover. Another turnover for DePaul. On the drive, the try for the left-hand finish is off the mark by Istanbul. Here's the freshman, 6'3". She was practicing in the preseason, cleared by the NCAA last Friday, as we mentioned, on the court the following Monday against Cincinnati. And here she is tying the game for Louisville in the first quarter. Ten to go in the quarter. Drop back for the deep 3. Sidor, no. The putback, no. The battle for the loose ball. Peoples bats it around, and that will do it for what was an entertaining first. Led to a tie game at 29 as we start the second quarter. In that first quarter, DePaul shot 60% from the field. Louisville countered with 67%. They work it around for Clark. That won't drop. Peoples, a second chance here. Sidor, deep 3, a little too deep.
Hey, we started off by saying there's a lot of things we need to learn about both these teams. I'll put that in that category.
Yes. One thing you know DePaul would love to do is run off that miss. Louisville getting back, but blowing by, but then missing the bunny was Gilbert. Rickards, she's never afraid. Peoples off the mark. Made their first 5 field goals, and they've missed their first 6 of this quarter, Christy.
Well, as fast as DePaul wants to play, they look rushed on their shots all of a sudden during this stretch where they're not making them. They just look like they've got to get it up quick versus they look so confident and in control early to start this game. They've got to get back to that. Shooters got to shoot the way they know how.
Taylor leans in, couldn't get it. Louisville back on the glass with Harris. That one ends the drought here to start the quarter for the Blue Demons. Cochran stuck with it and got the basket. She's in the double figures now at 10. There's Harris for Rickards on the pull-up. Timeout, DePaul. Taking you through the photo album right now, and now they are DePaul teammates. They were friends growing up. They both went to Notre Dame. According to Doug Bruno, they both originally turned down DePaul, but you never want to burn a bridge, and the door was open for them to reunite in Chicago, and you see what Peoples has done now in her second year with DePaul, of course Gilbert playing in her first season with the Blue Demons. That familiarity, we're hearing that from coaches when they're checking out the transfer portal. If they have recruited kids earlier, or if they know and have a different connection from someone, that really seems to be a key piece for a lot of coaches we talk to, Christy.
Absolutely, and for Doug Bruno and his staff, even before the portal, because he recruits the Chicagoland area to tell Doug Bruno no, and then at some point they wised up, and they wound up back at DePaul.
But in this era, no may not be your final no. There may be a yes after that no. No may not be the final answer. We saw Summer Lee, a freshman from Toronto, in the game for DePaul. 5-point game, 5.5 to go in the first half. Olivia Cochran in the paint again. Points in the paint. What an edge right now for Louisville. Once again, the shot clock winding down for DePaul. Here's Gilbert. Gilbert to kick. 3 on the shot clock. Flipping it up and off the mark is Jory Allen. And Rickards pushes it back the other way. The pull-up won't drop. On the glass, looking for the follow is Harris, and she'll earn a trip to the free throw line. We'll start at 4 Eastern time. They'll get you ready for another college football Saturday, which includes Syracuse and Georgia Tech. 1 of 2 for Harris. 26-6 is this extended run for the Cards.
DePaul missed Clark in the corner. She was wide open. They just couldn't give her the ball.
On the cut hands for Taylor. Tipped it to Curry. There's another rebound, but that's going to be... You be ready for that moment twice a week once conference play starts. That's the challenge.
And when teams are specifically game planning against you, can you do it on both ends?
Harris with the finish. Eight-point lead for Louisville. Cochran got the assist on this last play.
Big to big in transition. You got to love it. Harris with such good touch, but give Olivia Cochran credit for the leading pass.
I was trying to eavesdrop a little bit because I thought we could hear Jeff Walls, and maybe it was Olivia Cochran who got called for the foul. Just a little give and take. I think Olivia has earned that right to just have her opinion heard. It's career game number 102 for her today, so she's the longest tenured Card. DePaul led by 13 in the first quarter. Louisville has flipped it to an 8-point lead here in the second. Player down for DePaul, so a little advantage here for Curry, but can't hit. I think the player who is down is Clark.
Going again offensively. Throughout this run, she has been quiet. Told us we need to get ball reversal. We're so much better once we get the ball reversed.
Maskowicz on the cut, finds the cutter.
They're only down 4 right now.
That's 9 assists now for DePaul as a team. Battle for the rebound. Maskowicz, who's battled injuries throughout her career at UCLA, playing for DePaul now, comes up with a couple of good plays. The rebound and the assist. And DePaul will bring that clock down as far as they can. About 3.5 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock. Looking for the cutter again. There's Clark. That won't drop. Chance for a final push here. Cochran showing the handle with the dish. What if it goes? And it won't drop. That's a pretty good finish at the end of the quarter by DePaul. Really, when you look at DePaul's roster, only Peoples, Jory Allen, and McElrain played in the final game for DePaul last season. So a lot of opportunity there. Cochran, first possession of the third quarter for the Cards. And down goes Curry. Gilbert. Kick over to Allen. Shot clock down to 3. Gilbert from the corner won't go, and the rebound for Sydney Taylor. Taylor did not score in the first half. She's now 0 for 5 from the field. Another second chance opportunity courtesy of Nyla Harris.
Well, I think one thing to watch for Louisville as the season progresses, or that I'm eager to see, is for all these great transfer scorers, they're used to having the ball in their
on the drive, no good. Harris off the mark. Clark had the hot hand in the first half, drains it for 3 here in the third. 19 points for Kate Clark. 3 games, 3 new career highs for the sophomore from Indiana. On the drive, Kiki Jefferson has her first points at the KFC Yum Center. Peoples did well to track that down, but just couldn't get it to drop. Jefferson, coast to coast for 2. Peoples for 2. Taylor, Harris, Peoples, back for DePaul, 2-on-2, back the other way. On the cut and the finish by Clark. Correction, Seedor on the basket. That's her third field goal. She's got 7. Offensive foul. Clark and Peoples have been the 1-2 punch. Not this time for Peoples. They have 36 of the 47 DePaul points. Rickards to Love. Cochran on the cut for 2. They've doubled up DePaul when it comes to paint points. Seedor taken away. That's Cochran with the steal, Cochran with the push, Cochran with the assist.
Cochran came in today leading the team in assists. Yes, that is your post player, leading the team in assists. And then this evening as well, 3 assists.
Peoples trying to match Kate Clark for the team leading scorer. Nia Rivers had a career high 33 points, Christy, and 10 rebounds for the Wolfpack. Her previous career high was 22 points. So I would say she was ready for that matchup with number 2 UConn. They'll have a chance to see North Carolina after us here on the ACC Network. They take on Davidson at the top of the hour. Tatted around. Gilbert hangs onto it, just can't get it to drop. A reminder, she played 14 games for Michigan last season, and Christy mentioned it before that Doug Bruno said we are asking her to do more than she's ever done, and she's ready and answering that challenge so far. That won't drop, but look who follows it up. It's Allen who gets the basket. She's got 4 points, and DePaul is down by 1.
create spacing for Louisville right now. That allows DePaul to really pack in the paint.
Rickards can't hit, and it's taken away by Gilbert. Gilbert dribbles through the defense and scores.
Well, Eric, during the break, we were speaking of who else can start adding some points for the Blue Demons, and immediately it was Gilbert. But that's how she needs to get her points. Out of transition, off steals, off of rebounds, and get out and go.
Just to be clear, it's the first lead for DePaul since that first quarter.
It's group experience, and so far you're seeing that experience
on that Gilbert basket. Gilbert picked up the foul. So she's got 3. And now here's some Louisville pressure in the backcourt from Love.
Got to stay off that sideline against this trapping press.
It was tipped away. Out of the scramble, they get an open look with Clark in the corner. That's how.
The defender up. That's what left Kate Clark open and gave her enough time to knock down that 3.
And Christy, we've seen today, you do not want to leave Kate Clark open. Love knocks it down to put the Cards back up by 1, and now here they come off the miss. Rickards to the back. Into the hands of Cedar. Peoples. Won't go. Battle for the loose ball. Cochran tried to save it. DePaul's the first ones there. Cutting to the basket is Clark. Cedar found her. 2 more for Kate Clark.
That's at least the second time where Clark has just moved well without the ball to present herself at the rim for an easy look. Again, you see this 5-out motion by DePaul, just trying to pull the bigs out and give them dribble penetration lanes, but unfortunately Cedar turns it over.
That's a 12th turnover for DePaul. Eylia Love takes it right at Allen, who gets whistled for the foul.
I think it's with the 3 and probably just as much. Give her a blow as we're about to come to the end of the quarter. Let her have that extended break.
Love has 15. She scored 2 in 18 minutes of play against Cincinnati, but as Christy talked about before, Peoples defended by Love. Back out to Gilbert. Peoples spinning, hanging, getting fouled. Top returning scorer for this team. The only returning starter. She averaged just under 10 points a game a season ago. She had 19 in a game earlier this season. She's got 19 in this one. That game earlier this season where she had 19 was the exhibition game against Iowa in the crossover at Kinnick with 55,000 people watching. I know it doesn't count in the stats, but you had the wind. I thought the sight lines would be a challenge, but it was the wind that was more the challenge.
Well, Eric, that's just how I grew up.
Louisville's bringing up the pressure here, trying to make it tough on DePaul with 4.4 to go. They get Gilbert on the run. Gilbert steps through and launches, and that's short. Home opener for the 17th ranked Cards. Another great crowd on hand on a Sunday afternoon. 5th in the nation in average attendance a season ago. And they're getting to know the new players for this Louisville team. The new ones this season. And don't forget the one at the very bottom there, because Eylia Love transferred over in January and didn't play in a game last year, so she's playing in her first Yum Center game as a member of the Cards here today. How about the bench points, Christy? Telling a huge part of the story right now. And maybe huge isn't a big enough word when it's 30-0 in favor of the Cards.
Well,
taken away by Love.
I was going to say, that's why I felt like Jeff Walsh just had this little, like he had almost like a smirk, like he knew that he is not where he's going to be, obviously, but that he's got a lot of pieces right now that can fill it up, and we're seeing that bench and starters alike.
People in different positions, sometimes they might be uncomfortable, maybe uncomfortable for the fan. He just knows you have to build and build and build as the season goes along. 7 new players. Now, he pointed out, it's not like we're adding 7 new freshmen. These are players who have some miles on the odometer, who know how to play basketball. But another part that he pointed out, you only have them for 7 months when you talk about players who are coming in for 1 year. So it is kind of a crash course, but Cochran in the paint, who scores again to put Louisville on top by 5.
Well, Eric, I think a point to Jeff Wall's system is the portal, and that players want to come play for him because he develops them. Olivia Cochran, as a prime example, as a freshman, really had to be led to the rim.
You see some of the vitals for Olivia Cochran. One thing that does not jump up on that page is her career high. Her career high is 20. It came against Iowa in the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament last season. She added 14 rebounds in that game. Her previous career high was 11. She's got 18 today to pace Louisville. Rickards. Back for Cochran. Cochran will try to match her career high. ACCN, it's Davidson taking on 16th ranked North Carolina. That's at the top of the hour. 8 Eastern, it's Duke and Team USA. So a lot more basketball to come tonight on the Putmans in her Carolina debut and their opening win against Gardner-Webb. What do you think about UNC?
Due to some injuries, but Eric, yes, Navarro was amazing off the bench with a force just yesterday.
You see Louisville's made it to 70 points, which has been for Louisville.
And that's
Nina
the
Rickards. Yeah, Cochran inside for the two.
DePaul up to 44 versus just 26 for DePaul.
Rickards with the rebound for the Cardinals. We've seen Rickards get extended run here at the one for this Louisville team. We haven't seen Jada Curry in a while. Now, Jeff Wall said he expects to use both of them in that position and sometimes on the court at the same time. And a blocking.
But I think you also just saw in that last possession, Jeff Wall's taking over.
You saw Allen head off. That was her 5th personal foul. 6 points, 5 rebounds. Clark's had the hot hand today. 24 points. 6 of 9 from outside the three-point line. But can they get her the basketball? Gilbert, tough drive. Will go to the line and shoot. Gilbert's. Clark leading the way with 24. Peoples with 19. 1 of 2 in rebound. And now Curry will slow things down for Louisville. Taylor doesn't need this. Taylor, excellent shooter, 104 threes.
Wall's exasperated on the sideline because he wants them to work more of the clock right now.
Charlize O'Hare.
It's about time to get the Big East play.
Taylor forces it a bit. And DePaul gets another basket or two, and now they've got a player breaking away with 26 for Clark. Pack and scoring as a freshman, better than 18 points a game.
Here we go.
So that's one of the changes this year. Here's an open look for 3. That went down to feel a lot different right now. Now less than 2 minutes to go. It's a 9-point game. Louisville gets aggressive, and a foul is going to be called. Trying to keep an eye on that Louisville bench. It
looks like on the calf.
Yeah, water bottle there, and the massage. That maybe there's just a real nasty cramp in that calf, but we don't want to guess. But that's what you hope is the case, that they're just trying to work that out right now. Here's Clark for 3. 29 points for Kate Clark. 8-point game.
And there's the press for the first time, and Louisville just beats it with ease, pulls it up to work the clock.
Well, DePaul just looks gassed, too. They were just not ready to dial it up. Oh, that's an elbow up in the face of Peoples. No whistle. Peoples is still down. And now a foul is given intentionally by Gilbert to stop the clock. Just that foul called on Gilbert.
Absolutely. I mean, there was no wind-up. There was no nothing.
There, Olivia Cochran smiling and laughing on the bench. At the KFC Yum Center in a 10-point game. Clark looking for 3 more. Not this time. And tracking down the rebound is Harris.
If you're a basketball fan, pure and simple, you need to be tuning in.
Back to Rickards in the backcourt. Looks like DePaul on the reach-in. A foul is going to be called. Doug Bruno's team brought up very quickly that he had to scout a young Christy Thomas Scuddy in their playing days at Tulane.
I figured you would have sent the VHS tape.
Louisville gets it in with 30 seconds to go. It may have been 16 millimeter film, not VHS tape, but we'd have to double check on that.
Well, as I said to Coach Bruno, I've aged, he hasn't. He just keeps on winning.
Shot clock down to 3. Rickards takes a look. And it'll be DePaul basketball on the shot clock violation. So Louisville will improve to 2-0 on the season, wins over Cincinnati, and now DePaul. It was a slow start for the Cardinals, but a good finish. How about one more 3 for Clark? 32 points for Kate Clark. DePaul goes in for one final basket to end it. And 81-74 is the score on the board at the moment. Joe Vasili gives the universal signal for this game is over. Waves the hands, and off they go. 81-74.